Greetings and welcome, adventurers, to another episode of Let's Play Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Edition. And when last we left off, we are in the actual Throne of Bhaal, trying to stop our Melisande from eating too much stuff, and gonna be a tough fight.
Point the sword, and I shall strike.
Nature's servant awaits.
Buff us as best we can.
Yes.
And there we go.
Enough! I have gathered enough essence to deal with you. I will wait no longer to end your pathetic life. Prepare to join your siblings.
Don't yell. I can hear you just fine. To battle! No revenge!
I await your need.
Whirlwind. Whirlwind.
Ready for anything?
Something you need.
Oh, for the love of cake! That wasn't even close, was it?
Not good.
Oh, for the love of crumb cake! That wasn't even close, was it?
Yes.
Let's try that
I
again.
am ready to act.
Nature's servant awaits.
Yes.
I shall go forth at your command.
I await your need.
Of course.
Enough! I have gathered enough essence to deal with you.
Point
I
the
will
sword
wait
and
no
out
longer to
course.
end your pathetic life. Prepare to join your siblings. I am ready. It is about time.
Yes?
Something you need.
Speak your mind. Nature's servant awaits.
Yes.
Oh, for the love of crumb cake! That wasn't even
I
close, was
await.
it?
It is done. Yes.
Ready for anything?
Fall, creature, and feed the earth! I stand amongst the righteous.
Oh, for the love of crumb cake! That wasn't even close, was it?
At your order.
Something you need.
I am ready.
Yes.
Now what's taking
No! Oh, too strong! Damn you! I must take more essence. I must have more power!
on to prepare for the next one.
act?
It is about time.
I wouldn't dream of refusing.
I shall go forth at your command.
Don't yell. I can hear you just fine.
Let's have some traps.
I've set a trap for the feet unwary.
Aha! The
Jon
trap is set
Johnson
and the
at
game
your
is
service. I've set a trap for the feet of the unwary.
afoot. Aha! The trap is set and the game is
Happy to
afoot.
head it.
Point the...
Pardon turnip reflex. I've set a
Aha!
trap for the feet
trap
of
is
the
set and the
unwary.
game is afoot. Aha! The trap is set and the game is afoot.
You need my skills, I see.
Had to waste it there.
Yes.
Get it
A
up.
standard tactic.
Speak your
that.
mind.
Let's bring out another diva.
Your servant awaits.
And
Oh yes.
into the next room we go.
I await your move. Yes?
Something you need.
Yes?
I am ready. It is about time. Speak your... I am willing. Nature, take the life she gave!
What? Oh, I could do that.
Yes.
Nature's servant awaits.
Heal up.
Stand amongst the righteous.
I await your need.
Just as I thought.
At your... With all speed, comrade.
You get over there.
Something you... Onward then.
Don't got it.
Kinda hoping that I've got enough spells
I am ready
already
to
in this location that we don't need it anymore.
Yes?
And blessing.
Task at hand.
Alright, let's hope that there's enough traps. Make this next section a little bit easier. Yep. No need for the conversation, she just goes away immediately.
As you will.
Let's deal with this next one.
Something you need. Of course.
Victory! Unwary. Destruction? Certain.
I shall go forth at your command.
I am ready.
Yes.
I'm ready.
Need to swap over to a new wand for you. Otherwise we'll never kill these medalists.
My weapon has no effect.
Not good.
Well, use too many spells on these guys.
Point the sword, and I will deal
Point
it
the
with
sword.
my wrist.
Dang it.
Yes. Of course.
Nature's servant awaits. I await. Yes.
I am ready to act.
Something you need. I wouldn't dream of it.
To meet your
I will require healing. I am ready.
I shall go forth at your command.
Ready for anything.
I
Take that, turnip-hating scum!
Happy to help. To try to help anyway.
Weapon has no effect. It is about time.
point the sword, and I shall strike.
Yes.
Speak your mind.
Take that, turnip-hating scum!
Yes? You shall suffer my wrath.
Nature's servant awaits.
Something you need.
Eyes! No, not you.
Yes. Of course.
This fight requires that I target down the enemies a little bit more carefully, I guess.
Beware! Your knees are...
Nature's servant awaits. I await. It is done.
I am ready to act.
Yes.
Get the protections of that.
Take that. I shall go forth at your command.
Don't yell. I can hear you just fine.
Ready for anything.
I am ready.
Point the sword. I. Yes, of course.
Something you need.
Well, that's what we have Wands of Resurrection for.
Speak your mind, I am willing.
And we lose all the buffs. Oh, well, any of them starting to wear off anyway.
Yes.
And we have another one. What I had on that, at least a little bit.
Jon Jonsson at your service.
Wilson, my potion bearer, please pick up all the potions.
Pardon, tentative reflex. You need my skills, I see.
Keep drinking.
You sound like Golodar.
Alright, let's
Yes,
prepare.
yes, a standard tactic
I
that.
wouldn't dream of
As best we can.
I stand them at your with all speed, comrade.
What? Is there a griffin about? I've set a
Something
trap
neat.
for the feet of the unwary.
Aha!
Don't
The trap
yell.
is set
I can
and
hear
the
you
game
just
is
fine.
afoot!
I've set a trap for the feet of the unwary.
Aha!
Jon
The trap
Jonsson
is
at
set
your
and the
service.
game is afoot!
I've set a trap for the feet of the unwary.
Aha!
Pretty sure the time
trap
traps
is
will
set
not
and
actually
the
work
game
on
is
her, but
afoot.
all the traps I have.
Aha! The trap is set and the game is afoot! Oh, yes! Something you need.
Alright, so I need the contingency set up. I target myself. Do a mirror image. I see the enemy.
Pardon, tentative reflex.
And similarly, I need you to set up the contingency. Still have a contingency? I don't think I set it up for you.
You need. Oh, I
Happy
can
to
do
help.
that.
And
Try
do
to
you
help
have a
it.
contingency? I don't remember setting one up. Guess we'll just have to make
You
do.
sound like Golodar.
Nature's servant awaits.
Alright. One
Ready to
more
act.
of these blessings. Get some more token of empty
I shall
fear.
go forth at your command.
Let's summon everything we
ready.
can that can be summoned. Don't throw my divas or other
I
stuff.
await your news.
Summon the elemental.
What? Is there a griffin about?
Don't have a sequencer right now, right? Yeah.
Something you need.
Incactus pulca imperio.
Alright, just do 2 magic missiles at the same time.
Yes?
And bring one of these. May as well go for the full regeneration. Alright, let's give this a try.
Point the sword, and I shall strike.
I
Boost
am
yourself. Summon the sword.
Just as I thought.
Here we go.
You were stronger than even I imagined. So be it. Your destiny versus mine. Let's finish this now, once and for all. To the victor go the spoils!
Oh, didn't even touch. Well,
Yes?
brilliant.
Don't yell. I can hear you just fine.
It is about time.
Let's give you a creeping doom.
Yes?
What'll it be?
Jon Jonsson at your service.
Dragon's Breath. Meteor.
I stand amongst the righteous.
Something you need.
Pardon turnip reflex.
Ready for anything.
Breath. Go full spin
Speak
cycle.
your mind.
Yes.
Fall, creature, and feed the earth.
Happy to help. To try to help, anyway.
Let's use the spell trigger. Not sure if it landed properly, but let's use Ring of the Ram on you.
You need my skills, I see. Don't yell. I can hear you just fine.
I'm ready.
Something you need.
Get down, everyone!
Nope, you got her.
Enough, Amelasan. The gods have decreed. This contest is over.
No! I am a god! This is not over until I say it is!
You are no god, priestess of Bhaal. You play with stolen energies that make you immortal, that give you great power. But that does not make you a god.
The Bhaalspawn has not won! I refuse to believe it! Oh, I would die first!
But you cannot die, so long as the essences are within you. Even now, however, they struggle to flee from your weakened frame. You are defeated, and destiny belongs to the victor.
Indeed it does.
No! No! I will kill you all!
You will do nothing, Amelasan, but accept your fate. The time that was mentioned has come, Godchild. There is a choice before you. You have prevailed against all that have assailed you, and now you must decide your fate. The vast majority of the soul essences of the children of Bhaal, Lord of Murder, now belong to you, and you alone. You must now decide what to do with this power. Be wise. The choice is irrevocable.
Why? What's going to happen to me?
There are consequences with all decisions. This one, however, is unique in its scope. I will attempt to explain it as best I can. First, you may choose to surrender that portion of the essence which remains with you. It shall be given to Amelasan, and her soul, with all the essence it contains, shall be destroyed. You may think this brutal, but Amelasan has welded the essence to her own soul, foolishly, and there is no other way. The price of ambition is always high. Surrendering the essence will allow the gods to remove its evil taint and hide it well within the halls of Mount Celestial, forever preventing it from soiling further souls. You, Bhaalspawn, would be made immortal, free to continue your life with a destiny of your own choosing. The manipulations of gods will no longer be your concern, and your soul will be untainted.
And my other choice?
Once Amelasan's soul is destroyed and the essence released, you may accept it into yourself if you want it, and the Throne of Bhaal will be yours to command. The taint of evil within the totality of Bhaal's essence is great, greater than anything you have ever known. It remains to be seen whether you will resist this evil or embrace it. Regardless, you will receive new enemies from amongst the gods. Surely Sarevok, who usurped your sire's role at the Edict of Al the Overfather, would gain an interest in your powers. Your future is unwritten, but once chosen, the gods know that it will be of significance to the universe. You will have few allies, and your trials will not end anytime soon. The choice is difficult, but these are your two options, Bhaalspawn. This is where your destiny is realized, and your future begins.
I can't believe it! All this time, I've walked with someone who might become a god. It's weird. Just weird. I can't tell if it's good weird or bad weird. That kind of depends on what happens next. Just know that I'll always think of you as the person I've been proud to call a friend.
Well, you know, it's funny that this situation should come up. It's not something that I like to think about much, but I spent a whole year as a god back in '03.
Oh, I know what you're thinking. Why only a year? It's a touching and involved tale, but I'm happy to shed some light on it. Helps your predicament. Well, this I've gotta hear. It's nice to hear you eager for once. Not every day that a gnome finds himself in the middle of the abyss fighting an avatar and talking to a solar, you know? I haven't done that for at least a year now. Although, to be honest, last time was only in the company of Aunt Patty. And we all know what a pushover her Larry was. It's nice to see that my tribulations in this party are recognized. Anyway, it's during the time of troubles that I'd run afoul of some Baneite cultists who accidentally mistook me for Bane's earthly avatar. Don't ask, they didn't have a picture. Wasn't sure what to think of myself, and resolved to spend more attention towards my breath in the future. It wasn't long before I was worshipped by thousands on a regular basis. They made good stew, and constant chanting wasn't unpleasant. So I decided to play along. No one throws turnips on the threat of eternal torment quite as well as a Draftmaster. And I'll stand by that statement to this day. Well, it wasn't long before the whole time of trouble things was over, and suddenly little old worship me found myself up in the heavens before the Overfather himself. Seems they were short of death gods at the time. They didn't seem like such a bad gig. So I took him up on his offer. Plus, the dental plan was extraordinary. Being a god wasn't what you expect, though. Soon was all over me from day one. I hear she developed a thing for turnips about a decade ago. Just wouldn't leave me alone. There were parties at all hours of the night. Later I would get blasted and fall into the lily pond, and eventually Tor would start a brawl with somebody. Did you know what it's like to have hell pounding on your door at 3 in the morning? You'd never get any sleep at all. It was one thing, I was getting slapped by Umberly or hit on by Leviathan. All night long, and in the morning, all the gods would be in a foul mood. Terrible. Couldn't find anything good about the experience at all. No wonder Ao kicked them all out. He probably had to catch up on his housekeeping of all things. Well, after all that, I was more than happy to let Sarevok have the job, big puppy that he was. Left it behind me for a turnip farm and a nice pension, and gladly, although I eventually traded the pension for some stock in a Spelljammer trading cruiser, which was a bad decision. But all us mortals aren't immune to that, of course. Lost the farm too in a game of checkers to Uncle Fibbert. That turned out alright, as the turnips got bad rot that year, and Uncle Fibbert died of too much intestinal gas. Oh man. Anyhow, I hope all my experience has been of some help. Feel free to accept other opinions. No need to stare now. Move on, move on.
You would seek to rise up to the ranks where Helm resides? It is astounding that such a thing is even possible. Do as you feel you must. While I would miss your presence, I cannot advise you.
So, it seems we have finally reached the end of your quest. What comes next could change you forever and dictate our future.
What do you think I should do? I have pondered that question at your every move. With all that has been learned, I don't know where we'd go next. I don't know where we could go. I do know this. There is no place for me at your side if you accept the power. It would be hard to lose you, just as hard as it was to say goodbye to Khalid. Astor, both of you, to do this to me. I know this would. Chihira. I knew this would happen, that I would lose you. Not that I could see this coming, of course. Seems the gods themselves conspired to. This is ridiculous. This is not about me. This is about you. I won't ask you to stay. I won't make your choice for you. You worked for this, fought through it so much. With you at my side, if it is important, then go. I will not have you stay and regret it later. I will not be the great mistake that follows you forever, that forever follows you. I have too many of those I wish to wish them on altars, on another. Go, do what you must. I love you. Chihira kisses me, and then turns away, resigned to the decision she feels you've already made.
The time has come to make your choice, Balspan. What is your wish?
Alright, so he says it's such a simple choice also. I'm not entirely sure it is. Well, it's kind of choice. I mean, there's really only one option that is actually kind of good, in a way. And that's to reject the ball spawn essence. Although I guess it might depend a little bit on what kind of character you are. I mean, if you're full 20 reputation, lawful good person, you might actually be able to resist the evil in the essence and be a good god, I guess. I'm not sure I qualify for that. Regardless, I've worked hard for this. It is mine. It's always been mine. I will retain the essence of Bhaal. That is my right, and become a power of the plains.
As you wish. Though the thought of you succumbing to the temptations of Bhaal's foul taint brings me no pleasure. We shall see what manner of power you become in time.
So this is it. I wish you well. Maybe someday... well, I doubt this is the last we've heard of you.
Goodbye.
Your decision has been made, Godchild. Now the act must be carried out. Prepare yourself.
Your mortal essence crumbles as you embrace your fate and take the legacy of Bhaal as your own. You welcome the divine power and feel your dark influence flow over all that you know. The Abyss welcomes you, and you know you can shape it to your darkest desires. All of your enemies have been crushed, but there will be more to come. You are one of many in the crowded plains, but you are certain to destroy any challenge. You have stolen the destiny of a god, and none shall stand in your way. In time, all will know your terrible name. Your tyranny shall be renowned, your strength and guile legendary. You are the Bhaalspawn, Lord of Murder, and the mark you have carved upon the realms shall never fade.
Arman. I often misaligned you. Let you die ignominious ways, and, well, generally wasn't very nice to you. But I do respect you. You're probably one of the strongest damage dealers in my party. Arman was troubled after his time in Leon's company. He had closely witnessed the dark power inherent in the Bhaal child, and no matter Leon's intent, it caused a crisis of faith. His confidence in Helm shaken, Arman traveled without aim until arriving in the frontiers of Mastika. This was during the revolt of Yamash, an evil cleric that raised a demonic conquering horde. Arman was drawn into the conflict, helping to organize the besieged Mastican soldiers. He found he could not effectively train them without speaking of duty and the role a guardian must play. He was teaching the doctrine of Helm and understanding it more as he did. In the end, his words rang true, and Yamash fell to the disciples of Arman, a new order for a new land. Jaheira. Poor Jaheira. My choice was not very fair to you. But I'm glad to have seen at least your love for me. The events of the Bhaalspawn saga affected Jaheira deeply. It was her duty to protect the greater balance of things, but in the years to come she found an increased portion of that fight occurring within her own mind. Witness to the great change while in Leon's company, become acutely aware of how fleeting life was, and how the loss of those she held dear ate away at her thoughts. In time, she would be known as a tireless champion of balance, one that sometimes acted in concert with the Harpers and sometimes did not. Always, however, she remained distant and guarded, never staying long in any one place. Jaheira would cross the realms thrice over, but she never did return to Thethia or the Sword Coast. Jan Jansen, the ever verbose gnome. I admire your magical prowess and your thieving ways, your cunning. But after all our travels together, I do hope I found the rest I sought. Jan Jansen's life following his association with Leon was typically convoluted, the barest of details hidden amongst his half-truths and whole lies. According to his published memoirs, A Jansen in Every Port, after a short prison term for monkey smuggling, he returned to his first love, monkey smuggling. This led to the now infamous Gibbon Riot of 72. Tumultuous and altogether unclean event that seemed to center on the estate of the shadow thief Velag. Jan would deny that he had planned the downfall of the rogue, but I was unable to explain what a practical application he had intended for the horde of knife-wielding Sibians. Nevertheless, the death of the admittedly disliked and generally suspect Velag could not be attributed to the hung gnome. Strangely enough, Jan had alibis for each and every second of the day in question, and what a day it must have been. Relatives from across the realm came forward to say that he had stopped in for tea and turnips. At his later wedding to Lissa, Jan was asked how he managed to be in so many places at once, and yet still so far from the scene of the crime. Well, Jan would say, when you have that many monkeys, anything is possible. Wilson. Yeah, kind of a joke character in the game itself. Being a bit out of character, but I admire him for his spirit and his genuine ability to be neutral as a warrior, because we have too few of those in this game. Among those who speak the animal tongues, the tales of Wilson the Bear's adventures are well known and loved. Defender of the weak and a tireless crusader for peace in a world rife with violence. Wilson's courage and heroism are the stuff of legend in the animal kingdoms. The legends of Wilson passed down through the generations are countless, but few stand out. A favorite among the deer and gazelle, and to a lesser extent the hyenas, is the story of how he freed countless species from the tyrannical rule of a corrupt lion kingdom. After ending his own kind's murderous rampage against fish, he was the first and only mammal ever to mate change to the salmon. But perhaps his greatest triumph when he forged a lasting peace in the ages-old conflict between cats and dogs. For all these things and more, Wilson is remembered fondly by all good and steadfast members in the Wild Kingdom. He died peacefully during hibernation at the age of 37, surrounded by family and friends. He lived a good life. Good bear. Nira, the Wild Mage. Oof, I probably underutilized you, being the last member to join my pack. And I never dared dip into the chaotic power, because, frankly, that's gamble even too big for me. But I did like your presence. Your quirky nature is always just a bright spot in the party. Nira traveled back to the north, stopping at inns and taverns along the way, always listening happily as bards both tales both true and false of her adventures with Leon. When she reached the high forest, she was welcomed back as a hero and personally congratulated by Turlang the Treant. Afterwards, Nira returned to Arm to reunite with the surviving wild mages of the Hidden Refuge, thinking she would find happiness in their company. But Nira was now restless and powerful. Soon she departed, making her way to Moonsea. With the help of a wild searcher too, he sank 3 docked Thayan slaver ships single-handedly, driving the weather wizards from the city of Melvond. This attracted Tay's attention, and Nira found herself hounded once again by red wizards. She enjoyed it, for a time, and at one point even found herself in another alliance of convenience with Zaz Town. But eventually she returned to the Sword Coast. She lived the rest of her days with her friends and her memories. And that is indeed that. The end of Baldur's Gate 2, the Enhanced Edition. And such a joy of a game it still is to play, even if I do know most of the quests by heart at this point. Sort of. I mean, I did have to look a lot of stuff up, and I did have to use the console a couple of times, because of course not all the bugs have been fixed. And I can't remember everything because the game is just too vast, considering this is, what, episode 191? So yeah. Although I should probably confess there actually was no conflict about which ending I was going to choose. I had already decided back in Baldur's Gate 1 which ending I was going to pick, because I had never seen it before. I kind of wanted to see it. I do wonder though if it's always the same. If indeed there is a difference when which alignment character you play. If I distinctly seem to remember the Solar actually being happy to fight by my side in a part of a dialogue, but I might be misremembering exactly when. And of course, it was a completely different character that was lawful good, I believe, at the time. Piazza good, one of the two. Even though I did, at the time, I believe I'd always chose to renounce the power. But yeah, I had always intended to pick it. Granted, I kind of prefer the ending where I stick with Jaheira, because we did have to go through a lot to get that romance finished. It is a nice ending. You can look it up if you want. I like it overall. It's just nice and sweet. But that's the end of this. We can't speed this up. Anyway, I do wish to thank everyone that worked on this game, both from BioWare and later from Beamdog. I enjoyed it thoroughly, but now it's come to an end and it's already been quite long enough. Not as long as the last attempt, because I had to actually redo this fight, because the last time I just went for over an hour because I kept not thinking and just dying needlessly. Anyway, that's it for this episode and for this series. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment, rate the episode, and leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time in a new series. Already probably hinted at what I might be playing in the future, but there will be a slight interlude before that. So, see you all then. Bye.